Welcome to the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. This is your go-to resource for personal growth, mastering communication, and influencing and persuasion techniques that will help you unleash the full potential of yourself and others. Here is your host, Alex Morgan.
Welcome to another episode of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. My name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. And on this episode, we're looking at the step-by-step process to reprogram your mind so that you can have success and you can really create your ideal future and predictable results. So this is a guide that you can use. It's going to be a simple, structured process so you can shift your unconscious programming and align your inner world with success in your career, with money, with relationships, with how much confidence you have in health and fitness, spirituality, personal growth, whatever it is. So think about something. You don't get what you want. You get what you're programmed for. That's because your mind gives you what you focus on 100% of the time. So think about that. And your mind is way smarter than you think. And since you're listening, I know you are an intelligent person. So you're going to start to accept all the suggestions here. So let's get into the step-by-step system so that you can reprogram your mind for success starting right now. There's no reason to wait because success is here and you might as well be ready for it. And one of the easiest ways to be ready for success, because it's here, is to reprogram your mind for success. So first you need to understand that the unconscious mind, it's running 95 to 99% of your thoughts, your decisions, your habits, your emotions, your focus. And all of these are going to create your reality along with suggestions that you give your unconscious mind. Now, the reason that most people need to reprogram their mind is because most people are unconsciously running old patterns, old behaviors. This old data is in their mind because your unconscious mind is like a storage bin. So it's storing all the data, all the memories, all your habits, all your decisions, everything. So when that's all in there, this is what your mind is basing your decisions, your thoughts, and your habits on. So what if your mind is filled with past failure? Or what if your mind is associated with a bunch of disappointment from childhood? I was just meeting with someone the other day, and they were telling me that, maybe someone was disappointed. And I asked them, I said, well, do you normally disappoint people? And they said, no. And I said, well, did the person actually tell you that they were disappointed? And they said, no. And I said, so how does this happen? And they said they were going to do something, and then they didn't end up doing it. I said, yes, but if the other person isn't disappointed, it's okay if you don't follow through on something you're going to say one time. I mean, how many times have you actually disappointed someone? I asked them. They said, maybe like once or twice. So why beat yourself up with this old pattern that you're disappointing people when you're not even doing it right now? Because maybe when they were a child, they saw someone who was always disappointed. Maybe a parent of theirs or a brother or sister was disappointed a lot. And that's what they're thinking about, when in fact they didn't even disappoint this other person. Really, really interesting. And another thing to consider before the step-by-step process is success isn't about working hard. It's about aligning your beliefs and your values. So if you have the right beliefs and the right values, this is what's going to give those beliefs motivation. Guess what? You can very easily achieve whatever you want when your mind is programmed for success, especially with your values. If you're motivated and you're motivated towards what you want, meaning your mind is filled up with you thinking about and focusing on what you want, then it's going to happen. Because remember, your mind gets what you focus on 100% of the time. So the first step, the one thing that you want to do is you want to think about what is your current programming. So you can ask yourself some questions here if you're not sure what your current programming is. The thing I notice, though, when I'm talking to people is I notice that other people, when I say something, they're unconsciously putting their programming to me, and then I have to decide whether or not I want to accept or reject this. I was talking to someone else the other day, and they were telling me all these wonderful things that they were doing. And I told them, I said, wow, like this is really, really amazing that you're doing all these things. And they were thinking, yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do. And I was like, hold on a second. You're doing way more than trying. Look at all the actions you're taking. Look how serious you are about taking these big steps. And they were like, really? And I thought, yeah, why would I joke around about something like this? So this is a way to understand your current programming. Because even if someone is telling you, wow, you're doing a great job, and you're thinking, am I really doing a great job? So when something like this happens, maybe you don't have that belief. So you need to understand, what beliefs do you have about success, about money, about love, about self-worth? And then you can ask yourself, when did you decide to create these beliefs? Where did these beliefs come from? So the first step is identifying the programming that you had. And a lot of this is going to be different beliefs. So the unconscious mind, you want to bring these beliefs into your conscious awareness so then you can do something about them. So the first thing is you want to identify the programs that you already have running in your mind. Now, the thing to consider is beliefs are installing a program in your mind. So if you have good beliefs, empowering beliefs, those are installing programs. That means you can have access to them easily. When you have doubts, when you have worries, when you have negative emotions and limiting beliefs, you're taking out those programs. Unconsciously, your mind isn't going to find them. It's like a computer. If you were to look for a file on a computer and it was deleted, like your mind deleted this belief, how are you going to find it on the computer? You would have to then go in the recycle bin on the computer and hopefully find the file there, and then you could reinstall it. So think about it like this. Number 2, you want to have a way to interrupt this old pattern. So now that you have awareness, you know what your beliefs are, you want to have a way to interrupt it. So not only pay attention to yourself, pay attention to the mirror around you. Think, that's an old story that person's telling me. That's an old story that I'm thinking. I'm going to create, I'm going to write, I'm going to make a new one. So anytime that you have this old belief, you can ask yourself, like I said already, when did I decide to create this? Then you can ask yourself, what can you learn from this? This will interrupt the old pattern. You're thinking like, cancel it, clear it, replace it. Let's put something else in there. Because remember, beliefs, those are installing programs in your mind. So that'll make it easy. And that's the third step. You want to install the new belief. So you want to have a way to give yourself new suggestions. So this is where you can ask yourself the question, what do I want to do instead? What do I want to believe instead? What do I want to feel instead? So let's say you have a belief that you can't make enough money. You're consciously aware of this now. You already know what you can learn from it. So you interrupted that old pattern, and now you want to install the new belief. So what do you want to do instead? So how do you want to feel about money instead? What do you want to do with money instead? And see, hear, and feel the version of you who already has all this money or all this success or the wonderful business, career, family, relationship, whatever it is. If you pair this new belief with the emotions, they're data in the unconscious. This is where your emotions are stored. So this is going to make a good imprint, a good impression, and this is going to embed this new belief more than only just words. So have a picture, have a sound, have a feeling in mind of really what you want to do instead. And think about this. And think about it quite a bit, because the unconscious mind, it only needs repetition to install this new belief. So the more that you think this new belief, the more that you believe and feel good about this belief, the easier it is to install it and have repetition. Have you ever had a thought all day and then you're uninstalling a belief? You're worried about something and you keep thinking about that and you keep thinking about it some more, and then that emotion comes, and that's making an impression. That's imprinting something on the unconscious. So all you're going to do is the opposite. You're going to do this with empowering beliefs. People are usually more likely to do this with negative things. So if you haven't done this with positive beliefs, maybe you find that it's easy at the start to think positive things, and maybe you don't. Either way, you're going to enjoy building this rapport, building this connection with your unconscious mind. Most people that have to reprogram their mind, and I'm always reprogramming my mind. You can reprogram your mind every single day. Every time a thought comes up, you run through this process. Install that new belief. Find out what you want to do instead. Find out what that belief is. Interrupt the pattern and install a new belief. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, you won't even find your mind wandering to negative thoughts, to negative patterns, habits, behaviors. Your mind is going to be programmed for success so easily and effortlessly. It's going to be automatic and natural for your mind to do that. So the more repetition, the more consistency, the new belief is going to be there, and it's going to be so easy. Imagine that. So easy to achieve success, all because you have this program in your mind. That's how you easily create it. So those are 3 steps so far, and I'm sure because you are an intelligent person, you can easily and effortlessly follow these steps. I've taught these steps to many people, and many people are able to create success by following these steps. So if a person is able to do this, I'm sure you can too, because you deserve it. Yes, you do. I was working with someone the other day, and they told me that they had a friend who told them, they said, look, I'm going through something and my mind just keeps wandering, and what can I do? So my friend told them, they said, look, that's what minds do. They wander. So when your mind wanders, bring it back to something. Bring it right back to your breath. That's like doing that cancel, that clear, that replace. That's like interrupting that old pattern. And as soon as you know what you can learn from that thought, and then what other type of thought or belief you want to have, that's going to easily install the new belief. Interesting, really interesting how that happens. So there's some other things that you can do that make this even more and more easy. So you can really set an anchor into action. So you can have an action that proves this new belief. So every small move that you make, every small action that you take, it rewires your mind. So think about something every single day that you can do. It could be big, it could be small, it could be easy, it could just be talking to someone or talking to yourself in a really empowering way. This action then is going to prove that you believe this belief, that you believe in this success. So you can think about it like this. You can make a if-then statement. If I do blank action, then I deserve success. So have an action every single day that you do. Fill in that if-then statement. And next thing you know, you're showing yourself how easy this is. Or you can use a different kind of statement. You could say, because I take action, that means, so you can have that means in the middle, I am successful, or whatever belief that you want to have. So you can have either of these two statements, and this shows you that you deserve it. So if you take this action, you deserve success. And then when you take another action, you deserve success. What if all the good actions that you took every single day, how much success would you have? It's really interesting to consider this, isn't it? So have these type of suggestions in your mind, because you're already telling yourself these types of statements all the time. These are cause and effect statements, these if-then statements. You're already thinking these in your mind unconsciously, or people are telling you them all the time. Oh, if you do that, then you'll never have success. Or if you do this, people are saying this all the time. So think about what suggestions you want, because those suggestions are going to lead to the emotions. Those emotions with the thoughts are going to lead to your focus, and that's going to lead to your new reality, your new successful reality, because you reprogrammed your mind. So the fifth thing that you want to do is you want to do this daily. Reinforce your mind as you reprogram it. Repetition plus consistency is your new default programming. Get up in the morning and think about, what beliefs do you want in your mind? What programs do you want in your mind for that day? It's a great way. It's easy. You can even do a little self-hypnosis. You can act like one of your fingers is a light switch. And as you put that finger down, you close your eyes and think of the program that you want to install that day. And imagine what you see, what you hear, and what you feel. And do that for a minute, and then lift your finger up and open your eyes. You can do that for just 1 minute. I mean, when's the last time you really thought about, what program do I want in your mind? Because I'm sure you're wondering about what program you want in your mind now. Because that's why you're here, sitting here, lying here, wherever you're listening to the sound of my voice. And that means that you can have whatever programs you want in your mind. So spend some thinking time every single day. That's one of the things that successful people do. They don't just take action and work. They spend a lot of time focusing on what they want and considering what they want and visualizing what they want and telling themselves what they want without taking any physical action. They're putting all the effort in their mind. And did you know that if you put more effort in your mind, then that's going to create a better reality, and you won't have to put in as much effort in the physical. So remember, you're not stuck. You're just running old software. Remember, it's been deleted from the mind. It's like going on your computer and you can't find the file. That's what happened. That's why you need to reprogram your mind. And the good part, you are the architect. You're the programmer. You're the creator. You get to be the one who reprograms everything now. So think about, what belief are you ready to reprogram right now that you've listened to this? Think about that, because it's probably really easy to think about one belief and just spend that 1 minute of self-hypnosis doing it and imagining yourself with this program. What's it going to get for you? What's it going to allow you to do? If you do this power minute of self-hypnosis, then what's going to be the result? What are you going to deserve? That's right. Think about that. It's pretty good to think about, isn't it? So definitely share this with someone who will benefit. If you haven't already, go ahead and rate the podcast wherever you are listening. I definitely appreciate everyone who's been listening. It really helps this get into the minds of many others. If you're curious about anything that I offer, check it all out in the description of the episode. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.